Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Hardy, and welcome to Intermediate Algebra Online for Fall Semester 2013 at Miles Community College. What I mainly want to do in this video is cover the syllabus. The syllabus is the second link on the left-hand side of the course homepage. You go to the syllabus and you'll notice a fairly lengthy document. Unfortunately, we just have a lot of different people who have an interest in what goes into a syllabus, but it basically is supposed to tell you, it kind of acts like a contract really. It tells you what's expected of you and what you can expect from the course. So because it's so long, I'd like to go over the highlights of things you just really have to know and at least know that, oh, I can look that up in the syllabus. So, one of the things is my name, Dr. Mike Hardy. My office is 311. The colon is a typo. The semicolon, that is a typo. This is my phone number. I'm debating whether to give you my cell number as well, but this is my office phone number. This is my my email address. Great way to get a hold of me. This is a new idea. I'm having a text address. Not so much a great place to send me texts, even though it does come up on my screen. The site Textum does, but it will mainly be the mechanism by which, if I need to send a text to you and it's okay for me to be sending texts to you, then Textum, this is the address where it will come from, is this Dr. Mike Hardy. It won't look like a phone number, but that's really me. My office hours. There's basically one office hour in a day, 2 office hours on Thursday when I'm in my office. These are them. And realize also that I'm available by appointment. I'm actually around quite a bit. The course textbook is included in your My Math Lab subscription that came with this course. So there's not a requirement to buy the physical book. Simple four function calculator is required. Please be aware that a lot of people like to use their cell phones as calculators, and you should get a calculator that you know how to use rather than the cell phone, because during exams your cell phone cannot be used even as just a calculator. So you'll want to get these, and these things come really dirt cheap anymore, but you can probably borrow one for free. This My Math Lab is the program. We'll talk about more about that in the introductory videos a bit. There is a prerequisite for this course. You're expected to have gotten through MO90 Introductory Algebra or tested as being at that level here. So this is where math kind of amps up a little bit. It's not the toughest class we have, but it's getting tougher, and you really want to have the prerequisites down before you go on. Now, a lot of the rest of the stuff here it's stuff that's important to have for the various audiences of the syllabus, but really either you won't get it now until you've taken the course anyway, or it's really just for other people's benefit. So we get down to the 2 sections that you really just have to have down and know that these are here and know that this is where the authoritative source for them. One is called course assessment and one is called grading. So in course assessments, what are the things that get graded and kind of how is that grade then calculated based from them? So under course assessment, first thing I want to look at is the online quizzes. Online quizzes you'll be doing most weekdays. Basically, I think I went with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Usually this class is taught in conjunction with another face-to-face class that I'll have the same course in the face-to-face version, and I try to keep you synchronized with them. Right now the online section is the only intermediate algebra I have, so I forget which days I chose, but about 4 days a week you will have quizzes due. Now what you'll see is that these quizzes or the assignments for every day come in 3s. There's an assignment, and this will all be detailed in the videos. First one is called a media assignment, In the media assignment, you will view some videos and reading that goes over the material. Then there's something called the practice assignment, which is a homework that has a lot of different ways of helping you and do the problems. You do that until you get 100% on it using all the helps. Again, how that works is described in the introductory videos over there. And finally, you have the quiz. You can take the quiz as many times usually as you need, but it's right now set to only let you repeat a quiz 3 times. If you need more than 3 times, you ask. What I will do at that point is make sure that you're remediating between attempts at the quiz, that you're not just attempting and attempting and attempting and hoping to luck into a good score, that you're actually trying to learn it between attempts. Okay, so that's the online quizzes. Now, it's a lot of what we're doing, but because of the weighting of the grade, it's only 10% of your grade. So these online quizzes are building up towards something. Turns out that that something is going to be ultimately the proctored tests. Now, speaking of building up to the proctored tests, what we want to first go to are these things called practice tests. Now, practice tests are going to be part of your grade. So even though they're called practice, it's part of your grade. They're administered online, so you don't have to be at a particular place at a particular time to get them. You can repeat them as often as necessary. And the due date is the date of your proctored exam. So each proctored exam date, each one of these 4 dates, has a practice test that goes with it. Your goal for using the practice test is to take it. You are on your honor to take it as you would a proctored test, and in that respect, it will give you an indication as to whether or not you are prepared for the proctored test. And if you aren't prepared, it will be assigned to do more work, and you can, in the assignment that goes with each practice test, find some guidance in how to do the work. To get better and get prepared for the proctored test. So the practice tests, start them early, start them well before the deadline, and try to get to the point where you can do them up to 100%. If you can do them 100% on your own as if you were taking a real test, you should be prepared to succeed on the proctored test. That is a test supervised by a proctor, so you can make sure you are doing, this pretty much on your own. Now, there are 5 dates really in which, in spite of this being an online course, you'll have to be at a certain place at a certain time. And that is to do these proctored tests. They will be offered on Thursday, September 12th, Thursday, October 3rd, Tuesday, October 29th, and Tuesday, November 19th. In addition, your comprehensive final exam will also be a proctored affair held on Monday, December 9th. Now, if you are a local student in Miles City, you will probably be taking these tests with Jan Hartman as your proctor somewhere in the library. They will typically be offered at 9 a.m. on that day and 5 p.m. on that day. But you arrange that time and location with Jan Hartman. Very important. You see email from Jan Hartman, you answer it. You don't blow it off. Okay? People get in trouble by blowing off emails from Jan. They're important stuff about when tests are, etc. Okay? So that's that. If you are not in Miles City, what you have to do is pick a place. Usually it's a local library, and ask them if it's okay for them to be a proctor for your test. Then ask Jan Hartman and you arrange it with her. So she'll talk about what you need to do to arrange a proctoring center. But this all needs to be taken care of well before the date of the first test. The date of your first test being Thursday, September 12th. So it's something you're going to have to do pretty quick and deal with Jan Hartman on that. Okay? These proctored tests are a big deal. They're with a big part of your grade, and it is a big deal You don't want to miss them for just any old reason. You need a good excuse, and you typically need to warn me in advance if you have to miss one, and we can arrange for whether that's really a valid excuse, whether you could have a chance to make it up or whatever. It's not a case where you just miss one and come in a few days later and say, oh, by the way, when do I get to take the test? It's going to be never if you come up with that. You arrange as soon as you know you're going to miss in order to make up these proctored tests. Okay? Final, yeah, just really avoid missing that. You will have to speak with Dr. Hanley for permission to take a final on a day other than the day it is due. So it's not just my permission you'll need. He needs to go through the dean. In general, we've had problems in the past with students taking lots and lots of exceptions on their finals, usually trying to knock them off before so they can leave early or whatever. And that is something that got to a point where you have to go to the vice president of academic affairs to arrange an early shot. And basically, what the previous academic affairs vice president said was it's a one shot deal. If this semester is the semester you want to get out of your finals early and make other arrangements, that's fine. I'm never letting you do it again. Okay? So just realize, big deal. Take your finals on the day they are done, unless you absolutely, positively have to take them at another date. And then you hope you can convince us of that. Okay. Final is a one shot deal, period. The other proctored tests are one shot deals with one exception. You get to take one of those of your choosing and retake it. But you've got to request the retake within a week of the original exam date. You've got to visit with me in person to discuss a remediation plan. That is, you failed the test originally for some reason. We need to discuss what that reason was and what you need to do to prepare to succeed on the retake. You complete that plan for success, that remediation plan, and you arrange a retest time. That retest time, by the way, has got to be at least 3 days before your next exam. We can't have the retake interfering with your preparation for the next exam. Okay? So this whole process needs to be completed by 3 days before your next exam. Now, you can look up here, you see these test dates are about 2 to 3 weeks apart. That means basically this is when you very largely bomb a test and you know you can't have that bad of a score on. In fact, the highest score you can get on a retake is 70%. So it's for scores typically well below 70% that might just consign you to failure right off the bat. And it was a way to basically keep that from happening, give you a chance to get back on the horse and get things back in order and succeed in the class. Okay, so that's what the retake is about. It's not something that's going to happen every single time. It's not something you're going to have because you got a 98 and you really, really want a 100. It's going to be something for when you bomb. You'll get it once. You have to decide it right away that you want it. You can't just wait till the end of the semester and decide, oh, I want to make up test number 2. It's about getting you, when you see that there's something wrong, to immediately take action to fix it. It's a one-shot deal in that respect as well. Okay? So there's the proctored test. And finally, the comprehensive final exam means it will cover everything in the course. Okay? So that's important. And we'll talk a little bit more about that idea of a final exam. It's going to be important to learn the math in a way that you will be able to remember it for a final exam. So a lot of people have habits of learning one problem at a time, and they cram 20 problems into their head and take an exam over those 20 problems and forget the whole thing. What you're going to have to focus on in this class is learning the rules and learning the strategies for problem solving so that you can remember how to do this and apply it to the 50 to 100 different problems. You typically it's about 50 problems on the final and about 100 possible types of problems that show up on the final. And see, there's just no way you can memorize how to do 100 different types of problems. You don't do it by memorizing, you do it by learning how to problem solve, learning the concepts, learning what all the symbols mean, and learning how to do it. So that's what we're going to focus on as well as we go on through the semester. Other things that are important outside this section, in terms of college policies, there's a couple things worth mentioning. One, sometimes people have problems. Typically, it's in terms of taking tests. They'll maybe need another environment to take a test. They'll need some sort of accommodation. And I'm very flexible with that. But the thing that's important is that we don't just do whatever I feel like and whatever you convince me to do on our own. That we take it through the disabilities coordinator, Sarah Pett. So we have some sort of referee saying that, yeah, this is a fair thing to do. This is a legitimate disability. This is something that needs to be accommodated for. And if she's willing to help accommodate for it, I will bend over backwards. But you need to go through that office. Please do. I don't get any listing of your disabilities necessarily if you have already been through this process. So please go through her and make sure that the process is done. Another thing important to realize is in terms of withdrawing from the class, if you do not fill out an official form to withdraw from the class and get all the signatures you need to get on it, and sometimes people are not just waiting with bated breath around the office for you to hand them a form. It takes a couple days to do this process. Okay, you've got to get all the forms filled out and signed in order to drop a class. If that doesn't happen by December 5th, you're kind of out of luck and you're going to take the grade you get. And usually when people are requesting withdrawal, it's because they're cruising for an F. Okay? Now, there's a bunch of information up here about different types of situations, like between December 5th and I believe November 4th. Will appear if a W if you're passing or a WF if you're not passing. I don't assign WFs as a matter of practice. The only exception being is if I have to kick you out for cheating or otherwise disrupting in the class. So if other than that being the case, we don't assign WFs, it's just plain W's. And this is a great deal. This basically gets you to a point where you basically know your grade. You know your grade. If you like it, you can keep it. If you can't live with it, we can drop the class and start over again. So that's a good thing. But it also forces you, the process forces you to talk to me and talk to advisors and other people about it, make sure it's right for you. Okay. Other things on this syllabus I encourage you to read, but this is the main stuff we need to go on for survival. Now, you got two assignments here. First of all is go to this section of introductory videos. Click on that link. It'll take you to 4 YouTube videos. I'd like you to watch them all. It talks about basic rhythm of the class and how to get into My Math Lab and how to do the assignments and where your deadlines are and all sorts of things. Important stuff. The other thing I need you to do, and this will be your first checked assignment. I used to actually post an announcement that said this. I now want to make sure people are watching this video right to the end. So if you watch it right to the end, you are here with me and you know that your homework is send me email. And that email needs some information. First of all, it needs to be from an email address you actually check. So if I need to reach you by email, I can send an email to that address and know you're going to get it in a relatively timely manner. Second item is, since some email addresses, I have one email address that says cbige@yahoo.com. Well, who the heck is that? I'd like to know what name you are, what name you'd like to be called. Give me that information. Make sure that gets into the email. And this is also real important. Sometimes I need to get a hold of you quicker than email allows. Please send me a phone number where you can be reached. Typically, people give me a cell phone number. But I'm not demanding your cell number. I am demanding a number where I can actually reach you so we can maintain communication. It's not something I'm going to abuse or send to telemarketers or stalk you with. It is something we're going to use to make sure that you and I stay in touch and that I can do whatever it takes to help you succeed in the class. So please send me this information by an email and check out the introductory videos. Welcome to the class.